Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Lewis Speaks 2023, and today I want to talk to you all about male friendship. Don't mind the stuff in my head. I got some product in my head. I'm trying to deep condition. It's Deep Condition Sundays. So that's what that's about. And about the mess in the background, yeah, that's just life happening. But in terms of male friendships, it's really challenging to build and sustain male friendships today because friendship requires vulnerability. And a lot of men have been socialized to be very stoic, very emotionless, very, you know, just to themselves. Vulnerability was oftentimes punished and chastised and scolded when they were younger. And so men struggle with vulnerability, and I think that's why I went to the gay community because I was searching for people that just didn't want to uphold this toxic, wounded male identity. I was looking for people that were actually just committed to being themselves authentically. And then I learned that that's not true. Gay men are just the most broke down messes I'd ever mess with. And they have their own issues. They have their own issues altogether. Um, I think with gay men, they also, once again, at the end of the day, gay men are men. You know, Although I'm starting to realize that gay men are the new women. We'll talk more about that later. But I went to the gay community looking for friendship, looking for mentorship, looking for brotherhood. People to take me under their wing, show me the ways of this world, you know, and protect me from the dangers that are out there. I was really searching for a surrogate father. I gotta be real. I was searching for, and I was even looking in the straight community, but with straight men, there was just a lot of ego and a lot of competition, and I just didn't feel safe. I didn't feel safe with gay men to really, not even straight men, to open up. So I went to gay men because I saw that they were more in touch with their emotions. They were more open. They were more just ready to understand, Or so I thought, but it's just been challenging. It's been challenging trying to find healthy male friendships. And I'm thinking there are so many men out there that are looking for friendship, you know? I know women oftentimes they're better. They're better at sustaining relationships and building those relationships within their sister circles, but we don't really have brother circles. Gay men and straight men alike, they don't really have those brother circles, those close-knit circles. And some have tried to find that within the barbershop community, have that barbershop, because at the barbershop, typically men talk about what's going on and they're more vulnerable to a certain degree, but there's still ego there. There's still ego at the barbershop. I've overheard while getting a cut. I've overheard what these men talk about. It's always one man trying to compete and outshine and outshadow and overshadow and just outdo another man. And it's like, at what point do we as men drop the armor and really share what's going on in our lives? What's really happening with us? At what point do we say we got to drop this persona, this identity that we've adopted, and really get to the real, because so many of us are dying young. So many of us have health issues as a result of just bottling up our emotions, as a result of not really sharing how we genuinely feel. I know I gotta be real. I'm self-disclosure. I put myself in a lot of dangerous situations trying to find male friendship. You know? Another man could have been the anti-drug, could have been the person to save me from a lot of risky experiences that I put myself in. They could have been the one to protect me. I needed their leadership, their mentorship, their friendship, their guidance. I needed their investment, their consistent investment, but I didn't get that. I got a bunch of men who were selfish, only looking to come to my table to see what they can get. I got a bunch of men who always tried to compete with me. In the gay community, they were so catty. They look at you, they see that you're tall, good looking. They either want to sleep with you, and if you don't agree to sleep with them, they feel rejected, and so they reject you in kind. They say that, hey, you don't want to be in a relationship with me or sleep with me. All right, I'll withhold my friendship as punishment. That was the belief. And so oftentimes I couldn't connect with them. Heterosexual men, they were just challenging, because they always think that, oh, he got a little sugar in his tank, and they were just so homophobic. I couldn't really deal with that. And the thing about it is this: I don't hate straight men, I don't hate gay men. I just think that we are all broken as men, gay or straight. We're just broke down messes, and each has their own unique issues. Straight men got their own issues. I think with gay men, I can speak more to that because I've lived the life for 16 years, and it's been real tough. It's been real tough trying to find stable, quality men. These men are all wounded. They initially come to the table presenting as stable and sane. As you get to know them, they just become something else. They become something else. And it's just exhausting. It's exhausting. It's to the point where I'm enjoying my own company now, and I'm genuinely starting to really enjoy it. Before it was more of like I was just doing it begrudgingly, but then there comes a point when you really start to be thankful for your own company. You start to be grateful. You start to really just enjoy it. And it comes to a point where people become an intrusion. They become an intrusion, and you're just looking at them like, why are you here? Why are you even in my space? I have cleansed my space. I have made my space a sanctuary. And now they want to come along and what? What are you bringing to my space? Are you bringing drama, turmoil, conflict, chaos? I don't want it. I'm to the point where I don't want it. Keep your drama, keep your chaos, take it over there. I don't need it. I don't need it no more, because I'm just like before, I used to think that dealing with that gave me a level of depth, gave me a level of understanding, insight. I used to think that putting up with that was an act of love. I used to have all these misconceptions as to why I tolerated such crazy behavior. And as I start to mature, I'm starting to realize that, a lot of it is unnecessary. A lot of what we do and put up with, we really do to ourselves. We accept these poor behaviors from other people and then get mad. We get mad as to why our lives are going crazy. Why our lives are not going the way we want them to. A lot of times we contribute to our own unhappiness. And that's what I encourage everybody else to really analyze. In what ways do you contribute to your own unhappiness? When you start taking accountability and responsibility for that, that's when your life will begin to change. But as long as you continue to point the finger at this person, well, this person and this person did this and that person did that, they did, you'll never have the happiness that you enjoy. Because the thing about it is that person is moving on with their lives. That person, sometimes they're not even in the picture, and yet their ghost is still haunting you. How crazy is that? That person is no longer in the picture, and yet their ghost is still haunting you. It's time to give up the ghost. I realize that, I've let so many ghosts haunt me. Men who have came into my life and left were no longer in the picture, but yet the after effects of their presence still lingered. The after effects of their presence still were here. And I continued to maintain it. I guess I wasn't ready to let go. They have a saying, the dead don't haunt the living haunt the dead. And that is so true, because the dead are dead. They're conscious of nothing. They're no longer around. It's the living that keep them alive, that keep holding on to them, And so we have to learn how to let go of those ghosts. And I think that, if we want genuine male friendship, we also have to learn how to be a friend and really open up and really create those safe spaces for one another. Oftentimes these spaces are like war zones. They're battlefields. They're danger zones because of the male ego. I think we really need to shed our ego and allow the light of love, vulnerability, trust to enter into our lives, because it's not working how we're doing. It's not. I know we've been socialized to always be strong and, always have everything, figured out, but that's not realistic. As men, we're not doing well. We're not doing well. And I want us to do well. I want us to succeed. I want us to break through. I want to be a mentor to somebody, I want to provide that guidance. And that's why I do these videos oftentimes, because I know there's people out there, especially men, who really struggle with finding that friendship, finding that support. And I know they probably feel isolated, they feel alone, they feel rejected, they feel so many different things. And I'm here to let them know that they're not. They're not alone in their experience, because it is tough out here. It's tough to find quality male friendship. You can find a bunch of bums, sure. A bunch of people that just want to come into your life and wreak havoc. But nah, you don't want that. You want quality male association, Because it's getting real out here. It's getting real. We need support. We need one another. We need one another healthy too. Not coming at us all strange. And so some people, if you like staying broken, more power to you. Have at it. But as for me, I enjoy being healed. I enjoy elevation. I enjoy being whole and feeling whole. I don't enjoy just going out there, acting a fool. It's just, it's not for me. Not for me. And I just think that something, as men, we have to realize that we're not only doing this for us, we're doing it for those young men out there who are struggling in the darkness, who are locked in spiritual darkness and don't understand certain principles and certain universal laws. And this is why they're putting themselves out there and in risky situations. When you think about the crystal meth epidemic, a lot of kids out there are hooked. A lot of gay men too. They're getting hooked and they're getting sucked in because it's like they're just lost. They're searching for connection. They're searching for those late night, early mornings, trying to build memories with people, and what they're doing, in fact, is trauma bonding. They're bonding over a very traumatic experience. Drug use is a form of trauma bonding when you're with somebody and you're getting high with them. They're having all these late night sessions and they're thinking that they're talking wisdom and philosophy and they're finding friendship and they're building social networks. No, you're just building a network of addiction within your very psyche, within your very aura. You're building a network of addiction, and this is how so many young ones are getting caught up because they're searching for friendship. Think about the developmental stage when you think about psychosocial development, according to Erickson. Between the ages of 18 and 40, they're trying to negotiate intimacy versus isolation. And so they're trying to reach for intimacy, trying to build those social supports and those networks of support. But oftentimes, what ends up happening is that they get caught up. They get caught up in a smooth talking, confident person who really is confused. They get caught up. And so what ends up happening is that they find themselves lured by these charismatic false prophets, and that's why, something, don't take my word for nothing. I always lead you to the source. The source is God. Take his word. Don't take my word. I lead you to the source. That's the purpose of all our lives, really, is to lead people to the source. You want to know the purpose of life? I'm going to give you the answer right now. The purpose of life, listen up. Listen up. Don't pay attention to the air, the conditioner in my hair. Nah. The purpose of life is always to lead people to the source. That source being God. Not us. Not us. Because we can only lead people to destruction. That's humans. That's how, in the very nature. We always lead people to their downfall. I'm sorry to say it, but it's the truth. It's the truth. Some people who are enlightened, they can provide guidance and they can serve as guideposts to lead other people to God. But at the end of the day, our purpose is to lead people to God. And I think these young ones, they get lured by these charismatic leaders. And what ends up happening is that they get caught up. Because these leaders are imperfect. These leaders don't really know. They're trying to figure it out themselves, you know? So my thing is this. If you intend to be a good friend as a man, you have to be willing to provide that mentorship, that leadership, that sense of communion, that love, that support to other men. You've got to love on yourself, and you've got to be willing to love on other men. Love on them. Platonic love. Agape. A spiritual love. You know? Give them that agape love. You know? That love based on principle. That love based on the fact that they're human and they need. We as men have a responsibility to be leaders. We have got to be leaders. And I think our leaders are either being shot dead, either being just swallowed by addiction, or just out here confused, chasing after skirts, chasing after other men, chasing after sexual gratification. Our leaders are being flushed down the toilet because our leaders are hurting. They're human. And I understand. I get it. Our leaders are in pain. But at the same time, they have got to manage their pain so that way they can be a resource to other young men. We've got to start managing our pain better, because if not, what's going to end up happening is that we're going to become extinct, which is isn't that what's happening? Good men are becoming extinct. Now women have had to lead the charge, have had to basically just do everything. And they weren't created to do everything. They were created to be helpers. But it's like the helpers have got to be the do-alls. Because in the absence of quality male leadership, what are they going to do? It's either you adapt or you become extinct. And they have adapted to this unnatural way of being. Women have adapted to this because it's not natural for them to sit up there and do everything. It's not fair even. It's not fair for a man to do everything. You know, but when you think about how we were created as leaders, protectors, and we're not assuming those roles. And that's because we don't have any solid examples. We don't have any. I know I don't have if you want to know the truth, I was raised with no men in my life. None. My uncles were incarcerated. My father was an addict. He was out there basically shooting heroin. And all the men in my life were just non-existent. And then when you reached out to other men, they would just try to challenge you and abuse you. So you learn how not to lean into that support, but rather to look at it from a distance, have some curiosity about it, and look for spaces where your curiosity can be satisfied safely. So many young men out there feel this way. They're lacking leadership. They're lacking adequate leadership, you know? And so that's the thing. You know, sometimes, you know, I've realized you have to be what you never got in this world. Sometimes you got to be the person that you are looking for. That's the thing. You have to be your own hero. That's the lesson. So I hope people enjoy this video. Just know, all my males out there who are struggling to find male friendship, it's tough out here. Right now it's ghetto. It's ghetto out here. You know, it's real tough. But in the meantime, while we go through our wave and ride this wave, because life comes in waves, right now the wave is just rolling on. So we just got to ride out this wave. While we ride out this wave, pick up new tools, read, gain information, try to be a friend to ourselves, try to be a friend to those who can receive our friendship, and do our best. That's all we can do. And most of all, most importantly, we have got to learn to lean on God. We've got to learn. We've got to learn to lean into His love and to surrender to His love. That's the hardest part for men. Talking about surrendering to God. They're like, what? Surrender? No, I will not surrender. I won't surrender. They won't surrender. They're holding on to their ego, and it's their ego that's dragging them into an early grave. So we've got to learn how to surrender. That's the answer. Even myself, it's hard for me too. I've got to see God as a partner. I've got to partner with him. We're partners in this life. And that has worked for some men, seeing God as partner. God as partner. God is my partner. He's my homie. We actually are in this together. But at the same time, you also have to recognize that he is a supreme being. And so you're not like buddy. You definitely have that respect. But at the same time, we've got to learn how to surrender for the sake of our survival. Surrendering for the sake of survival. That's the answer. So let me know your experiences with men and friendship. I definitely am curious as to what you feel and how you've been navigating that oftentimes difficult, situation. So definitely, if this video resonates, like, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts. All right? I love y'all, and thank you so much for listening. Peace.